All right. Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to the conclusion of our bargaining process over a memorandum of understanding between JCEA and Jefferson County Schools. I think that what we'll kind of explain the process and what's been going on the last couple of sessions and the conversations that have happened and where we've ended up here. But I think maybe we could start with some introductions for anybody watching so they know who we are and what we do. So I'll go ahead and start. My name is Michelle Malis. I'm the bargaining chair for JCEA. I'm happy to be here tonight. And I'm a teacher, Green Mountain High School, Spanish. I'm going to throw it to I'm going to go in kind of order on my board here. So Brooke, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm Brooke Williams, art educator and the JCA president.
Oh, sorry, Dale. I was like, you can't read my mind. Dale.
Dale Munholland. I'm the JCEA vice president and social studies teacher here at Pomona High School.
Great. Kendra.
I'm Kendra Geis, and I teach 5th grade at Swanson Elementary, and I'm a member of the JCA bargaining team.
All right. Rob?
I'm Rob Cassidy. I'm a teacher at Stanley Lake High School. I teach science, and I too am a member of the bargaining team for JCEA.
Right. Phil?
Good evening. I'm Phil Bedford, Executive Director of Employee Relations and also lead negotiator for Jeffco this year.
All right. Jen?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jen Jones, Chief Human Resource Officer.
All right. Christine?
My name is Christine Wiggins. I am a UNICEF Director at JCEA.
Great. Thank you, everybody. And for people that are tuning in, we do apologize. A lot of us, it's been a while since we've thought about how to put everything together for a live stream bargaining session. And there's a lot of moving parts, as always. And so we're appreciative that we had Drew with us to live stream tonight. The other session that we had is recorded, and there were recordings available of all the conversations we had. I, first of all, want to thank everybody who's participated in this process. I really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the care that we've taken in creating this MOU. We know that the consolidation of our schools is it's a challenging time for a lot of people in this district, and it's hard and it's scary, and we want to do what we can to make sure that we're smoothing the road as much as possible for this process. And so we've done a lot of work around how to work not only the interview process and application process to make it more streamlined and less painful for both the schools and for our teachers, but also how do we know and how can we figure out what positions are going to be available? We know that many times teachers might take their time making a decision. They might not decide if they're going to leave their position or not until later in the year. They kind of want to hold on and wait and see. And it's going to be most helpful for our district to know as soon as possible how many open positions that we're going to have. And so that way those are opened up and we will hopefully have spaces for all of the teachers that are in those schools that are being consolidated. And so part of this process was to encourage that. And we want to remind everybody that this is not like what's happened maybe in other districts or in the past in terms of a contract buyout. That's not what that is. This is an incentive in order for people to turn in their paperwork earlier than what they might normally do to help out our teachers that are rightfully concerned and worried about what's going to happen, what's their next year going to look like. And we want to do everything we can for them and also for the schools, because I know it's really hard for our schools that are trying to figure out who needs to go where. And the sooner we can do that, it's going to be the best thing for our schools, for our students, for our communities. So I really appreciate everyone's time and everybody's work and the conversations that we had. I think it was really productive. And so I think that maybe what would be best, since we're able to live stream this time, and I can do it, but I don't know whether, Phil, if you're prepared, if you have the document that we were working, our last version, if we would like to walk through what that is, and we can explain it, or people can jump in when they want to explain some part of it so that people watching will understand what they're looking at and bring tonight's session then to a conclusion. So did you want to screen share, Phil, or would you like me to do that? It's up.
Either way, I just shared the link with everyone that's here tonight. And if you want to share that, or I can share mine, either way, whatever works easiest for you.
I can do that. Hold on one moment. I think this is, I believe this is the document that we were working from. So I can make it a little bit bigger. Would that help? Can you guys see it okay? I don't know if I can make it bigger or not.
Making it bigger would help, Michelle.
Okay. Oh my. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, great. So for people that are tuning in tonight, this is where we left off last Monday. We had about 2 hours, I believe 2.5 hours of discussion. And so this MOU has to do with an early, and by the way, I know I'm just kind of talking here, Phil or Jen or anybody, if you want to bust in and say anything, that's fine. But this is about the early announcement for resignation and retirement incentive. So again, to be clear, this is just an incentive and a thank you, because we know that taking on the decision to retire or to resign your position is a big one. And the sooner, I know people like to take time with that decision, but the sooner that we can do it, it's going to be better for our schools. We're in a, just a tough spot with the consolidations. And so that's what this was about. And so our eligibility for people that might get this incentive would be non-probationary and probationary licensed staff who are under contract and also in good standing. So that would be temporary or part-time employees would not be eligible for this benefit. Just looking ahead to, if we may, we don't know how many positions we're going to end up with.
Michelle, can I just add in that we had some discussion on whether the probationary teachers should be a part of this, and decided from the standpoint of having, the best picture possible of, who will be teaching next year and what positions would be available. Probationary teachers were included in on this plan.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, that's going to be the most helpful. And that's the whole purpose for doing this, is that we want to make sure that we know as soon as possible how many open positions we have to offer our teachers. So an employee that is on administrative leave would not be eligible for this. And also employees who are currently on a break in service would be eligible. So if somebody were out for maybe an extended illness or on maternity leave or such, and they might decide, maybe I'm not coming back after all, they would be eligible for this as well.
And Michelle, excuse me just for a second, just to clarify that as well. We have folks who are out for the entire year who are truly on a break in service, and they may be completely detached from the district currently. But we would want to know that they're not returning as well. So we do want to include them. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. Okay, so the employee must work through the end of their contract year to get that incentive. So it's not for people that resign effective immediately or don't work through their contract. So it would be something that would not be happening mid-year. Resignation or retirement must be, so the date on this would be January 15th. We need to know by then because we're making plans for our teacher hiring fair. And so we would need to know then, and there's a link here. We'll be sending this out that you can click, and you should be able to do that from that link, is my understanding. If you make a late submission, it will not be eligible. The employee's resignation and retirement is voluntary. No one's going to be pressured to do so. And it will be effective on their last contract day of the year. So we had a lot, the item that we had the most conversation around was what that incentive amount would be. Because, as again, this isn't buying out any contracts. This is just an incentive to turn in that paperwork. And we had a lot of back and forth. But the last offer on the table was the $750 from the district. And we would like to explain that after a lot of discussion, we did talk to, especially to our members that this would be affecting. And a lot of them, obviously, we're hoping for more because it's a big decision for that to make. But they understand the circumstances surrounding this. It's hard when, different districts have different pots of money to play with. And so sometimes that can be challenging. But we understand that this is the amount that would probably be most feasible. And in the end, it was agreed that that we will accept this last offer. And I don't know if anybody else wanted to chime in on that decision, but we think that that, of course, always hope for more, but we understand and we will accept the 750. So it would be 750. It's just it's an incentive. It's a little something to think about, a little bonus, and that would be in your final paycheck. So you would receive that at the very end, the last paycheck that you get from Jefferson County School District, and it would also be subject to all required deductions. Did anybody want to add anything at that point or at this time? Okay, great. We thank you for that. And contingency. So eligibility for that incentive payment is contingent upon them completing that year through the effective date of the resignation, and submission of resignation retirement are irrevocable unless an extenuating circumstance should arise. So we understand that somebody might say, you know what, I think I'm ready to retire. And then in March, something happens that people just weren't prepared for. So a loss of a family member, a loss of family income, perhaps a divorce happens and that income is now gone and you're a single parent, personal health issues, etc. So something that would be a major life change issue. And that request would then be reviewed by the Chief Human Resources Officer for consideration. The employee must complete that no later than that date of January 15th. Each completed end of employment resignation or retirement will be reviewed for eligibility. And once approved and finalized, the resignation cannot be withdrawn. So no changing your mind unless one of these things happens. So you put in your paperwork, something terrible happens, you really need to keep that income. Then that would be, then you would go through a request process with Chief Human Resources Officer. So the district will provide notice of approval once that eligibility has been determined. And then this is the important piece, is that approved employees will not be eligible for rehire for the next school year. There's only one exception, and that would be if returning for a hard to fill or part-time position or in a substitute capacity. So in those situations, again, we do have some hard to fill positions, and if we need somebody in that position, that would be an exception, but we don't know or expect maybe that would happen. And so that would be the only exception for that. So we feel that all of this language protects our members, our teachers, our schools, in our district throughout this process. And we're pleased that with the language that we have. So would anybody else like to add anything? Oh, and if this is the final document, I don't know if I'm able to do this, but if we want to accept the changes and move this piece here, so that this is not, I don't know we'll have to clean it up to make it a finalized document. I don't know if I have access to it at this time to do that, or, but we might be able to figure that out behind the scenes.
Christine put it in our NAT folder, so
Okay.
I think that we might.
Well, my question was in terms of like getting a signed copy, if we're going to sign it, etc. How do you? Because I know we talked a little bit process going forward about actually signing the, whatever it is, the MOU, negotiated language, etc. But I just haven't done that in this position because we've been online for most of the time I've been bargaining. So how would we proceed with that? Do you have any ideas around that, Phil?
Yeah, Michelle, we'd accept verbal commitment to the MOU this evening, and greatly appreciate your acceptance of the agreement. And then we can formalize it through signatures between Brooke and I.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Bill, do you think you can send that over to me by tomorrow, and then I'll sign it, and then I can just scan it and send it to you, and then we can get that out in our communications by the our communications is going out on Wednesday, so I'd like to include it in that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. So as mentioned, that will be going out in communications. If people have any questions, we encourage them to reach out and we'll talk you through it. We'll also have an explanation in the email with how that will work. And on my behalf, I appreciate this document. I appreciate working on this with you guys. And I'm happy to pull this confab to a conclusion, but I would like to also open the floor if anybody would like to make any other closing remarks. I kind of talked a lot.
I'd just like to throw in here at the end that we're appreciative of the work that everyone has done in this process. We know that it's didn't take too long to get to the end result. Also want people to know that we're appreciative of acceptance of a small token of our appreciation for being able to get this announcement incentive ready to go so that it'll help us in the staffing process. And Michelle, you said it very eloquently that, you know, the idea of this isn't a buyout of any sort. It's simply a small token of our appreciation in order to get people to submit their early announcements to us, so that we know what vacancies we'll have, so that we can take care of our continuing staff and making sure that they have assignments for the 23-24 school year. So thank you very much, and we really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks again to everybody. We can probably go ahead and stop the live stream, and we'll let Drew do what else he does in his